Hi everyone, you're welcome to my YouTube channel. It's your girl Aisheey Verano, and today I have a special guest. It is Bunmi. Hi girl.
Hi,
Hi.
darlings. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm blessed and highly favored.
I see a little cleavage today.
God, blessed us in that arena, small, small. We thank the
So you're
Lord.
like, let's
Small,
give
small,
them a little something. We
small,
didn't plan
small.
we didn't plan these outfits, by the way. It just kind of just happened that we're both showing a little cleavage. But yeah. Uh, okay, so today we're actually going to talk about something I feel like is not that serious, but I think people might just be in the comment section fighting today, Sha. But
Yeah.
the question is like, would you take your husband's last name? And like, yeah, what would you do? Would you take your husband's last name? Do you think wives have to take their husband's last name?
The last name, when it comes to the last name, it depends on how it's gonna sound when someone announces me. Like, does it
Okay.
sound really nice? Like let's say the Smiths. That has like a
Okay, what's up, Boomy? Apple bottom. I
Can
guess
you
that's a no.
imagine? There are people with that last name as well, It's so
Oh, I did. Oh
funny.
my god.
Apple bottom, yeah, there are people with last name like that. That is the scariest part as well. The people with that last name. I don't know, I feel like with some names, maybe because I don't fuck with my surname, so it's almost
What's
kinda
your
like
surname for those asking in the back?
I don't want to claim it. I don't like claiming it
Okay, tell me
publicly.
privately. Your
Is
aunties and uncles are probably watching this. They're probably be like, "What do you mean about your surname? Our name?" They're not going to be cool with this, hun.
oh is Afuye. That's my surname.
What does that mean?
Yeah. Girl, I don't know. Afuye something that is light. I don't know.
Oh,
Afuye.
Afuye. Oh,
Yeah,
it's the way you
Afuye.
pronounced it. I was like thinking, like, wait, is that actually Yoruba? But right, fair enough, cool.
No, because I don't fuck with my surname like that. Like I've
Mm,
always thought about it. You know how people like love their surname so much that they hyphenate it? I
mm-hmm,
don't think that's gonna be me
mm,
personally for
right.
personal reasons. But in regards to women taking their husband's last name, do what floats your boat. Like for example, if you have a brand, let's say
Mm-hmm,
you're someone that ended up building a brand of your name, like
mm-hmm,
your first name and last name before you met your
mm-hmm,
husband, then I feel like it's something that can't be changed because people know you as that brand name
mm-hmm.
rather than you know accepting the guy's name because Kim is known as Kim Kardashian West.
So I guess that's a
So
compromise.
yeah, it's almost like a compromise kind of thing. Like Beyonce is called Beyonce Noel's no Beyonce
Carter.
Giselle Noel's Carter. So it's almost kind
Mm-hmm.
of like hyphenated because they have their brand name in there. So I think personally, it's up to the woman. Whatever you feel like you're comfortable with, do that and have
Mm-hmm.
that discussion with your partner to be, I suppose, because at the end of the day, in the end, if you end up having kids with the person, you have to agree which surname the kids have if you're
Mm-hmm.
not going to accept your husband's surname. So it's almost kind of like it's something to think about, yeah.
Yeah, no, I get that. I think, okay, let me put it this way. I've been in a dialogue, I don't want to say argument because it did turn into an argument, if I'm being honest, with
A
someone
heated
who,
conversation, baby.
who okay, extremely heated conversation, let's put it that way, right? With someone who was upset at me for saying that women don't have to take their husband's last name. It's not a have to. It's
Yeah.
whatever floats your boat. For me, I felt like there was a thing about personal choice, but
Mm.
then she did not agree with that. So it was one of those things where she was like,
Wait,
"How
does
can
she
you say
want to take
that?
your husband's last name
Feminists,
or?
all you feminist people, blah blah blah." She went on a rant and was really upset. So I know, and I was a bit like, okay. Then she was then talking about like me being Christian, And you know, she's like, oh, but as a Christian, blah blah blah. So you're telling me you're not going to take your husband? I'm like, what are you talking about? Did I mention me? All I said was there's an issue of personal choice. And I feel like sometimes people think because you have certain opinions means that, you know, you might not decide to do something. At the end of the day, I'm a free moral agent. I have agency over like whether or not I decide to take my husband's last name.
Yeah.
But I don't think like people should be shamed for deciding not to. Like
Yeah.
if I decide not to, it is my business. It is my and my husband's business. Ain't none of
Yeah.
your business, hon.
Yeah.
And I don't personally see anything wrong with not taking any last name. At the end of the day, man, like it's not that deep.
No. But I guess to some people, it's almost like a badge of honor that they're married. You know, some women see it that way. Like, no need do they have the ring, they have the surname to show for it as well, which is in itself a bit strange because marriage
Problematic.
a little bit, yeah, because marriage is not the gift. Like, I know a lot of people that would rather be single than married. You know, like pastor would preach about it all the time. Single people wanting to be married and married people wanting to be single. Like, it's not the end all and be all. Like, it would be nice to have someone to share the rest of your life with. I'm not saying it's not going to be nice. It's going to be actually lovely because I feel like as humans, we're meant to be together. Anyways, that's how God made us, created us, to help one another to grow and stuff. Yes, our ideas and our ideology may differ from each other, but it's all about coming into that middle ground and, like, you know, understanding one another, not trying to change the person, you know, and just end up in a good amazing partnership, I suppose, like rather than marriage. I kind of feel like the whole idea of marriage, the whole institution of marriage was about finance, to be fair. Like, you know, family marrying each other because they were financially, like, well off and they wanted, you know, that wealth in their family kind of thing. So it's almost, you know, like a lot of people, I don't know, it's just a bit weird. Like,
yeah, no, I get that. I think some people marry for financial reasons, and you know, in the States, there's like tax implications of, you know, filing your taxes as a married couple versus otherwise, you know. But at the same time, I think, you know, let's not forget, like, as Christians, marriage is an institution created by God. And it is important to God, you know, if you choose. The thing about God is God don't force you to do anything. You know, even Paul has talked about being single. You know, it's not a problem. It is a choice.
No,
So it's like you're not. Don't think that you have to get married. Ultimately, it is your choice as to whether you get married. And I think we need to normalize not putting. I don't want to go into that because that's another topic that we're meant to talk about.
Topic for itself,
so that's a topic for later. So I don't want to go into that on this one. But I think with the name as well, it's like if you already have a brand and you know you don't want to take your husband's last name, you're well within your rights. At the end of the day, it is your choice. I think people need to stop imposing their beliefs on other people. You know, there's nothing wrong in. I know someone who wants to have a new name created with her partner as their last name, and because for their children to then have the name. Exactly. It was intentional. Like they talked about it and they said they wanted to come up with a name together, and like that would be the name their children would have. And you know, I thought, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. That like, well, you know, we can normalize that. There's nothing wrong in deciding, coming up together and saying, do you know what? Let's create our surname. We're married. We're now one. Let's create our surname. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Exactly. I agree.
But it's almost like now, if you don't take your husband's surname, like you're doing the most. Now let's now flip it the other way. What if your husband wanted to take your last name? Would you be cool with that?
Go right ahead. I wasn't claiming that name anyways, but do you, baby, if that's what you want to do.
Yeah, like, so would you take his last name and let him take yours?
Do you? Like, we're all free agent.
Okay, let's put it this way. You like his surname, you don't like your surname. He likes your surname, he doesn't like his. Would you like exchange surnames then?
We might as well just affiliate everything together. Just get on with life. Like,
I just get with it.
Like, do you know what I'm saying? It's just, we'll just have to hyphenate the names, Abby. We can't
and just see what happens. see what the kids do. The kids are gonna have long names, though. And then the kids will be
I was
like,
gonna say something
"Why are
that
my
popped in
names
my
so
head for
long?"
YouTube.
Oh, tell me privately. No, but it's true though. The kids are probably gonna be like, "Daddy, mommy, why are my names so long?" But
Boy, from the time you're already Nigerian, you have 20 names. You better show up and
to
say
be honest, you be high, you be high. Like, I think to be fair, like kids adjust pretty quickly. Like whatever
yeah,
you've exposed them to from day one, they really do adjust to it. And
they do.
honestly, like I'm not,
I mean, they have
you
no choice.
know, that's one way to put it. That is one way to put it, sis. That is one way to put it. But I think, like, did you have anything else you wanted to share on the topic? But before I round up.
No, I think we said everything we needed to say. I feel like with that is a personal choice. Do what
Mm-hmm.
makes you and your partner happy. You come to that conclusion with your partner. Like, personally, in my own household, I'm not claiming my surname. Like, and my husband's surname is something that if it looks nice and it's like when they announce me and they're like, oh, this is Mr. and Mrs. On your wedding night, and like, yes, that's a powerful surname that is, they know the royalties have come
Yeah,
to
but even
town.
if you don't take his name, they're not gonna announce you as what anything else. They'll probably announce you as Mr. and Mrs. whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Which further perpetuates the idea that they just feel like there's an expectation.
Yeah.
Do you think I feel like there is an expectation? It's almost like, okay, let's move matters a little bit further. I know I was saying maybe we should round up, but let's move matters forward a little bit further. Let's say you don't want to take your husband's last name. But his mom is upset about the fact that you don't want to take your husband's last name. Would you
Yeah.
do it to please her, or would you be like, do you know what, F that, F this, I'm not
Am I
doing it?
sleeping with her at night time? I just kind of want to know, like, is she the one that married? I mean, technically, when you marry the guy, you marry the family, but
That's what
at
they
the
say.
time, yeah. I mean, I can kind of see it that way, but it's almost kind of like now that it's just me and your son, we're now our own union, because in the Bible it did say once you join together, you have to leave your family and create your own family of your own. So at the end of the day, it's our own family, and if me and my husband have agreed not to, you know, there's no reason for you to be upset about it, because you know like I feel like with parents they should understand that how would they feel if their mother-in-law was doing that to them. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Because you are someone's in-law as well, you wouldn't want someone imposing themselves on you, like,
Right.
in that sense. Do unto you what you like others to do unto others
What you
what you
like
would
to be
like to
done
be
to
done
you.
to you, kind of
Yeah.
thing. So that's what I would say, like, it's you and your husband's marriage at the end of the day, like, that's it. You create
Facts
that
and
family.
major
Yeah.
facts. Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think it's one of those things where I feel like before you even enter into marriage and relationship, you have to be ready for a level of I don't want to say, you have to be strong-minded, strong-willed.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you don't want something, you have to be able to speak up and say, do you know what, this is not something I want to. Now, there are certain
Yeah.
things that you might be able to compromise on because you don't feel strongly about the issue. For
Yeah.
example, talking to you, I can tell you don't feel strongly about whether or not you take your husband's last name. You're like,
Yeah.
ow. But then there are some women that will be watching this today that will think, hell no, I'm not taking nobody's last name. I've worked
Yeah.
so hard to make that name. I'm not even hyphenating it.
Yeah.
If
I
that's
mean,
how
as
you
a
feel about that,
feminist, yeah, I mean, as a feminist, I believe in women taking hold of their own agencies. Like, that's your own opinion. Like, is the result of it is not going to affect me for the rest of my life. It's you that is going to change whose life. Like, do you know what I'm saying? So I'm all for women doing what is best for them and not just doing it because that's what the guy wants. Is kind of like have your own voice in a way as well, so and it's like when other women think being a feminist is a bad thing, it's like, no babe, we're just trying to protect you, trying to get what we deserve, because after time a lot of women, we go through a lot in life, like,
mm,
so the little things we can enjoy, we're gonna seize that moment and enjoy it for the rest of our life, like, you know. So
100%. And I think,
that's it.
like, for the guys watching today, do you have anything you would like to say to the guys watching today? Let's say there's a guy thinking of getting, engaged or whatever, and is thinking he wants his wife to have his last name or fiance or whatever. What would be your advice to him on how to approach the situation?
I guess just have a normal conversation. You know your partner best. You know how to receive information best. You know,
Mm,
and if you don't, that means you've not been studying your partner, because like, you should know how they would react to something, or which
mm,
tone and which language to use in order to let your message be heard without any
mm,
defense coming up automatically. Because I feel like one thing a lot of people don't talk about earlier on, I feel like in the earlier stage is something that you should be talking about, even if it's probably not going to end up anywhere, like end
mm,
up in a relationship. It's something that people should already know on our like, once you get to our age kind of thing, and you're
mm,
getting into your 30s, or like reaching your late 20s, you know what I'm saying, like, you should be comfortable enough to
mm,
actually, like, use your mouth to talk about things that make you feel uncomfortable, because those are the issues you have to deal with down the line. And there's no point wasting your time, or
mm.
wasting 6 months of your life, or like a year of your life, and then you're thinking, oh, I didn't know this is how you felt, and I don't agree with
Right.
this, that. Like, what's the point? There's no point of that, you know.
I feel you, sis. I feel
So
you.
it's just a conversation you have to have. Like, it's uncomfortable. I don't like uncomfortable situations
Okay.
myself,
I don't think
but if
anyone
I feel
does.
strongly about something, I'm gonna express it, like, you
Hmm.
know. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with that. I think, like, the first starting point is a conversation. I think men also need to have a level of sensitivity. And I think
Mm.
because you can't just come to her and say, "Oh yeah, so you're taking my last name." Do you know what I mean? Like, she might not be. It's
Yeah.
like, so don't think just because that's what happened in your parents' marriage or your grandparents' marriage, that's what's going to happen in your marriage.
Yeah.
Instead, I think there needs to be a conversation. And I
Yeah.
think it's so important to have all of these conversations before you even get engaged.
Yeah. I agree.
When you are thinking of getting engaged, those conversations need to be had if you haven't had them already.
Yeah,
It's like, yo,
definitely.
what are your views about this? What are your views about gender roles? What are your views
Yeah.
about having certain things? Those sorts of things need to be talked about, expressed before you're like, oh, will you marry me? Because once you
Yeah.
say the will you marry me, then you start planning the wedding, you forget about all the actual stuff they need to be
Yeah.
doing. So I think have the conversation, be sensitive. If you feel strongly about her having your last name, then you need to be expressing that.
Exactly. But you
You
need
know?
to come from a place that, like, the person can be more receptive to it, and not
Mhm.
something that they feel like you're
Yeah.
chucking down their throat. Because I feel like that's where people come down, you know, always forget to do, kind of thing. Because imagine me coming to you saying, oh, you need to take my last name, or like
Hell
coming
no.
up to you, like,
That
do you
would
know,
be
you
me.
become like very
I'll
defensive,
be
like, hey,
defensive, immediately
yeah.
defensive. Yes,
So
it's the way you come up to me that
you
will
come about
determine
it,
how I would.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's all about the sensitivity of the matter, like, and you have to be able to, like, accept the response without trying to combat it too much, kind of thing. I don't know. It's a bit.
And also understand that they might not necessarily start off. So let me give you this example. I know a couple who
Mm,
the wife did not take her husband's last name. She kept her name,
mm-hmm.
and then years into the marriage, she said, "I want to take my husband's last name."
Yeah.
He didn't have to force her to do it. He
Exactly.
wanted her to do it. He
Yeah.
expressed that he wanted her to do it, but
Mm-hmm.
she just wasn't comfortable doing it. She didn't want to. And then when she eventually got to the point where she wanted to, he didn't have to tell her, let's have another conversation. I want you to have my last name.
Yeah.
She just said she was going to do it, and she made the arrangements and she got it done.
Mm.
So I think let's not, sometimes we have to, and this is, especially if this is the person that you say you love, there has to be a level of patience and sensitivity when it comes
Yeah.
to certain issues. Well, all issues, if you ask me. But more certain issues need more sensitivity and patience I think this is probably one of those. So yeah, I think that's it. Unless you want to add anything else, I think that's it from me.
No, there's nothing. I don't feel that strongly about last name.
you're like last name. I can't even give you a last name now. Should I give you one? Are you gonna take it?
It depends. What's the last name? Is it strong enough?
If it's strong enough, you're gonna take it. What are you gonna change your Instagram page to like the name I give you?
Oh no. People know me as Bunmi Afuye already. Sorry.
Right, so it's a bit too late for that. Yeah, maybe I'll give you something to hyphenate it. Hyphenate it.
All right, let's go for it.
Oh girl, I gotta think about it. I'm gonna have to talk to you about it later.
Okay.
But I will have a think about it over the weekend or something and come up with something good.
Yeah, I'm down.
You guys, if you guys have any suggestions for us, I may need you to leave it in the comment section below. Let's figure out a new last name for Bunmi. Joint effort, guys. Let's do it. I'm on it, guys. But thank you so much for coming on the channel today. I truly appreciate you. If you guys don't know, she has a YouTube channel, so please check her out and make sure you subscribe. And like I always say, tap that bell for notification. That's the only way you're going to know when she posts, okay?
It's on this
and
side.
Also, as your host now, of course, you're here to see my content. So for clicks, I'm going to need you to subscribe. Tap the bell for notifications. Give this video a thumbs up if you've enjoyed it. And also share your thoughts below. Do you think it is compulsory for a woman, a wife, to take her husband's last name? If she chooses not to take her husband's last name, how would you advise her to approach the situation? And also give the men some advice if they have wives that don't want to take their last names and all of that, and how to navigate that in this world of dating. So yeah, thank you so much. It's your girl Aisheey Verano, and I'll see you guys later. Thank you. Bye. Mwah. Bye.